Hi. In the previous session, we discussed about the constructional details of the three-phase synchronous generator. So let us see the working principle of the synchronous generator. Uh, okay. So we know that synchronous generators are also called as an alternators, and the alternator works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. So electromagnetic induction means whenever there is a relative motion between conductor and the flux, the EMF will be induced in the conductor. Okay, so whenever there is a relative motion between conductor and the flux, the EMF will be induced in the conductor. Um, we also know that DC generator also works on the same principle. The only difference is that in the alternator the conductors are stationary and the field is a rotating type, but whereas in case of DC generator the conductor will be rotating and field will be static. Okay, now so let us consider a conductor, so which is moving in the let us assume the conductors which are placed in the magnetic field, and just let us see the different position of the conductors. So in this figure 1, the conductor at position 1 will have the velocity which is acting vertically upward, and the permanent magnetic field lines will be acting vertically downwards here from north to south, and the conductor 1 will be, the conductor in position 1 is having upward direction velocity, and the field lines are acting vertically downward. So both the lines are parallel and it will not cut any flux, therefore the EMF induced in position 1 is 0. Next, let us see when the conductor moves to position 2. In position 2, we can observe that velocities are acting horizontally and the magnetic field lines will be acting vertically downward. Therefore, the flux lines will get cut when the conductor is in position 2 and the maximum EMF will be induced. Okay, and in conductor, when it comes to the position 3, again velocity is acting vertically downward, field lines are also acting vertically downward and they are parallel. The flux line will not be cut, EMF will be 0. And at position 4, velocity is horizontal and field lines are vertical. The maximum flux lines get cut by the conductor, and here the EMF induced will be maximum. So we can replicate the behavior of this in as a waveform, so which we have shown here. So when at position 1 and 3, the EMF induced is 0. At 1 and 3, EMF induced is 0. But when it comes in 2 and 4, EMF is maximum. 2 and 4, EMF is maximum. But when it comes to 4, the direction actually will be in another way. Therefore, so it is having the maximum value in the negative direction. Okay, right. Next, let us see the frequency of the induced EMF. Assuming the number of poles of the synchronous generator as P and its rotation of the motor as the speed of the generator as N. This should not be motor, this should be alternator. Okay, so this should be an alternator, and if is frequency of the induced EMF. So considering a single conductor which is placed in a slot of the stator, let the rotor with an alternate north and south pole. If it rotates with an angular velocity of omega, in a clockwise direction. So we can observe that one complete mechanical revolution of the rotor, it produces P by 2 cycle of the EMF electrically. So here we can just observe one complete revolution, that is 360-degree mechanical rotation of the rotor will causes the one complete cycle, that is 360-degree electrical rotation. And suppose if we take the 4-pole rotor, then it produces 720-degree electrical or 2 complete electrical cycles. Okay, therefore so when we consider that rotor rotates, makes one complete rotation, one mechanical revolution of the rotor will be considered as P by 2 cycles of EMF which is electrically produced. Therefore, there are P by 2, that is number of poles divided by 2 cycles per revolution. And if we consider the speed to make one complete revolution, the time taken to make one complete revolution as n by 60 in terms of seconds, and we could write the relationship between frequency, the speed of the rotor and the number of poles as F is equal to Pn by 120, or N is equal to 120 F divided by P. Okay, right. What is meant by a synchronous speed here? So the speed of the rotating magnetic field, we call it as a synchronous speed, and it is represented with ns. Okay, so we can also relate the relation between supply frequency, number of poles, and the synchronous speed as 120 F divided by P, because the number of poles will be same for stator and then a rotor. So number of poles for the rotating magnetic field will not vary, and hence we can relate that with the synchronous speed ns as 120 F divided by P. And the speed of the rotors will vary depending on the number of poles. So this table will gives us an idea of how it varies. Suppose if we use the rotor having or then alternator having the number of poles as 2, then they run with a speed of 3000 rpm, and if number of poles are 4, they run with a speed of 1500 rpm. If number of poles are 6, they run with a speed of 1000 rpm. If the number of pole is 8, then 720 rpm. If it is 10, then 600 rpm, and so on. Okay, so the concept of armature winding. Actually, winding is nothing but number of conductors which are combined together with a specific manner. So we say the armature winding is nothing but the number of conductors arranged in a specific manner. So for the three-phase synchronous generator, there are 3 sets of windings, so which may be arranged either in a star or in the delta form, and these windings are arranged in slots which is made around the inner periphery of the stator part. So the armature windings will be placed in the stator. There are 3 sets of windings, and these windings will be placed in such a way that there should exist a phase difference of 120 degree. Okay, right. Next, let us see the different winding terminologies we have already discussed in our earlier session. Okay, so conductor is nothing but active length of the conductor. So that is a part which is under the influence of magnetic field, so responsible for producing the induced EMF. Next is turn. the conductor in one slot, if we connect it to the conductor which is placed in another slot, then it is called as a turn. So in this three-phase alternator, there will be more number of turns, and the number of conductors will be distributed in all the turns and in all the phases. Suppose if we assume the number of phases as ZPH, there are three phases here. Okay, so ZPH represents the number of conductors distributed in a single phase. So we know that in a single turn there will be two conductors. Therefore, in one turn, so we can say the number of conductors in a single phase divided by 2. That is, total number of turns in a single phase is equals to number of conductors in one phase divided by 2. So let me just repeat it. So a turn means the connectivity between two conductors which are placed in two slots, right? So that means a single turn carries a two turn. So the total number of conductor in one turn is equals to 2, right? Therefore, if we assume the number of conductors in a single phase as ZPH, then we can say the number of turn in a single phase TPH as number of conductors in a single phase divided by 2. Okay. So now what is meant by coil? So n number of turns which are combined together, we call it as a coil. So the coil could be a single turn coil or it may be a multiple turn coil. So what is meant by coil side? So each a part of the coil in each slot, we call it as a coil side. Okay. Suppose let me just show. Okay. If this is a single slot, another slot, this is a conductor and this is another conductor. If we combine this is a turn, right? So if we break this, this is called as a coil side. So this is nothing but an coil side. Okay, let me just show one more time. Okay, so this half portion, this is nothing but an one coil side, and this is nothing but an another coil side, right? Okay, so coil side is nothing but part of the coil in each slot. Next, what is meant by pole pitch? So the distance between center of two adjacent pole. So the distance between center of two adjacent poles, we call it as a pole pitch. So pole pitch is equal to, always we can calculate, depends on number of slots which are available in each of the poles. So pole pitch is equal to total number of slots divided by number of poles. Now what is meant by slot angle? So the electrical angle between two consecutive slots, we call it as a slot angle, and it is always calculated as 180 degree divided by n. So that means the angle produced by a single slot, we call it as an slot angle. So the pole pitch is nothing but the center to distance between center of the two adjacent poles, right? So if the distance between the two conductors which are placed in two different conductors will be 180 degree apart, so the angle made by A single slot is nothing but a slot angle. So we calculate the slot angle with the equation 180 degree divided by n. N represents the number of slots per pole. Thank you.